2022 has been a year of bouncing back for the motorcycle industry, with positive growth and a number of new launches. Retro continues to be as popular as ever, and we've seen new street bikes, sport bikes, adventure bikes, the whole lot. The cream of the crop is here with us today, fighting it out for the Autocar India Bike of the Year award. Reliance General Insurance presents the Autocar Awards 2023 in partnership with the Times Network and tyre partner Apollo Tyres. Candidates for the Autocar India Bike of the Year award must be made in India motorcycles launched over the past year that we've had a chance to ride. And while comparing such vastly different motorcycles can be challenging, what we're looking for is a bike that shines across a range of different universal parameters, including design, performance, value, and ownership experience. It's also important to judge how well each new product fits its intended role. So with that in mind, the full list of candidates for this year includes the Bajaj CT125X, the Bajaj Pulsar N160, the Bajaj Pulsar P150, the BMW G310RR, the Honda CB300F, the Jawa 42 Bobber, the Kawasaki W175, the KTM RC390, the Royal Enfield Hunter 350, the Royal Enfield Scram 411, the Suzuki V-Strom SX, the TVS Ronin, the Yazdi Adventure, the Yazdi Roadster, and the Yazdi Scrambler. A long and diverse list which we've narrowed down to the top favourites, which will be trialled by our jury members. Speaking of which, here's an introduction. Our 3-member jury comprises experts at the top of their fields who have a keen understanding not only of the motorcycles they're about to try out, but also of the average customer's wants and needs. Our first juror needs little introduction because it's professional motorcycle racer Rajni Krishnan, who joins us once again for our awards just a few months on from wrapping up his record-breaking 11th National Championship title. Joining him on the jury are Rishad Modi, editor for bikes at Autocar India, and Rishabh Bhaskar, senior correspondent for bikes. First impressions are being formed as the jurors get up close and personal with the motorcycles for the first time, assessing aspects like design and build quality. Familiarization completed, the riders now climb aboard for a thorough inspection of each machine. Let's now listen to what they had to say about them, starting with the smallest, most affordable bike here, the Bajaj Pulsar N160.
The Pulsar N160 is a massive change and a massive improvement over the old Pulsar 150. And the big thing for me is how smooth this engine is. It's easily the smoothest engine we have here, and that really makes this bike a pleasure to ride. I wish it had slightly more top-end performance. On the other hand, this is the first bike in the segment to offer dual-channel ABS, and I think that's something that really needs to be celebrated. I think Bajaj has done a very good job with this motorcycle.
It lacks the heft of a Pulsar, but the design is still nice and sleek. There's a big change in, rather big step up in quality as well compared to other Bajajes in the past.
First of all, I like chassis because bike is handling very good. The bike is very, very smooth, good package, and good bike to ride on the road.
With the Pulsar proving to be a revelation, we move on to Bajaj's erstwhile partner Kawasaki, who recently brought in its most affordable model yet and its first bike to be made in India, the W175 retro motorcycle.
The Kawasaki W175 is easily the most simple motorcycle here, and for many people this bike is a little too simple. But for me, I find character and charm in that simplicity. This is not the best value for money bike at its price. It's not the best bike for highway performance, but it's a simple, fun and cheerful city motorcycle, and I think I quite like it.
The only way to define this bike is just sweet and simple. It's going to be a great city bike, but the asking price is a little on the steeper side.
If sweet and simple are the Kawasaki's strong points, then the next bike here is perhaps in contrast to that. The Suzuki V-Strom SX is one of the more attention-grabbing bikes in this year's lineup. Here's what it's like to ride.
The look wise very, very good. In the price also more comfortable to buy. And other ways the bike is very good for riding like touring.
Really nice all-rounder. A sort of jack of all trades, master of none, but it does all those trades really quite well.
The final Japanese motorcycle in this year's nominees is a bit of a surprise package from Honda, the CB300F. Quite a few people have found this to be a tough bike to sum up, and here's what our jurors have to say about it.
I feel like the look wise also not much great, and there are good power engine but so much vibration there.
I'm not really sure what Honda's trying to achieve with the CB300F, because on one side it seats you like a commuter motorcycle, on the other end it has a 300cc engine. It is quite quick, faster than the 250s in our acceleration tests, that is nice, but the engine itself is not as smooth as you would expect a Honda to be. Quite a lot of vibrations at the top end. Overall, it's quite a confused motorcycle, and the launch price for this thing was very high, which is why Honda discounted by 50,000 rupees within 3 to 4 months, which is pretty much unheard of from Honda.
One of the interesting themes in this year's awards is a face-off between Royal Enfield and TVS. Two companies which haven't historically gone toe-to-toe, but have this year given us two new models that go head-to-head in many aspects. The first of these is the slightly oddball TVS Ronin.
The Ronin is one of the most comfortable, easy to ride and nicest city bikes of the lot that we have here. There is a lot to like about this bike when you're riding it, but I just can't get over the way it looks. This design just doesn't work for me.
The motorcycle is quite easy, simple and nice to ride. I like the quality levels over here. I like the suspension setup. It's a nice and punchy engine as well.
Maybe you can make a little bit concentrate for the look wise, and the feature wise very good, and the price also very good. I feel the engine is in torquey also, and I feel the sound is very nice.
Priced almost exactly on par with the Ronin is Royal Enfield's most youthful, light and nimble offering today, the long-awaited Hunter 350. Has it lived up to the hype?
I think Royal Enfield has got many things right with this motorcycle. It's a great looking bike and it's been priced really well, but there are also a couple of things that I don't seem to like very much. The rear suspension for one is an issue for me. It's very firm. Heavier riders don't really have much of an issue with it, but if you're a light rider, that stuff is punishing if you live in an area which doesn't have very good roads. The second issue for me is the clutch. This is really heavy. Now Royal Enfield says that they've made this bike for newer, less experienced riders, and that's not something that I expect new riders to get along with very easily.
And with that, we come to the final nominee for this year, but in many ways also the most exciting. It's the most powerful, most high-tech, most feature-rich bike of this bunch. It is, of course, the new KTM RC390.
Of all the Indian manufactured motorcycles that I've ridden this year, I think I had the most fun on the RC390. I was never really a fan of the old RC. It was a bit too hardcore for the street. But this bike is so much better. The suspension has a sense of plushness to it. The riding position is better. The sense of quality is improved. There's so many features, and it's still a very fast bike when you want it to be.
The front end more lighter, and compared to old bike and new bike, the old bike very difficult to ride in the city also. Now this bike too can ride very easy and more comfortable also. The overall package and the costing, the bike is very good.
That marks the end of the assessment, and now that the jury members have had their say, it's time for you to have yours. Head over to autocarindia.com and tell us which of these is your favorite, and you could be the one presenting the Viewer's Choice Award at Autocar Awards 2023. And with that, we reach the end of an insightful and exciting session with this year's most interesting new motorcycles. With all sorts of different bikes to assess and 3 different viewpoints on offer, there has been a good deal of back and forth between the jury members. But finally, the scores are in. And now it's only a matter of time before the winner is announced, and we have an all-new Bike of the Year 2023.